Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Ve'ilu nishmasi mimirosi ruspas Mordechai. Hayoim Tisha ve'Esther Miyoim she'emar ba'osh voice v'yoim echad ba'omer or la omer. Today's shir is sponsored by Shachar David in memory the Yahrzeit of his mother Juli David, Yehudit's Fruma bas Yחיאל, and anonymously by Kalman of the Five Towns, zoche Menachem Mendel ben Simcha, and Rufuah Shelmeh for Reuben Shlomo ben Fruma. Keep your kashas for the emails. Do not ask kashas during shir. Today's first email comes from, actually, let me show you this. It's very similar. A picture of the world famous songwriter David Address and his choshev father learning at 4 o'clock in the morning the daf. 4 a.m., father and son. Why? There's people that learn for a living. There's another one. Chanoch Banchek. Dear Rebelli, I wanted to thank you for your great daf shir. I am now heading a high school in Gibraltar, and the few of my Talmidim are very much into the daf thanks to you. They love listening to your shir. My son is one of them, and he got me into it too. We both sit in front of the computer, learn the daf, and smile together with you. As the Gemara Menachem says about Rav Yehuda ben Beseiro, Sha'ata b'Shemesh u'mtzudascha prusa b'Gibraltar. Thanks, Chanoch, Rabbi Chanoch Banchek, headmaster. Gavaldik. This one is from David Goldberg. Did you live on East 4th between Ditmas and F? Yes, I did. Your father had a Vasikim minion. Oh, yes, he did. And I went there every single, had a Vasikim minion in the garage. My brother and I davened there the second day of Shavuos. Your father made a bracha on the Megillah like the Gra. Good, yeah, that's him. Rabbi Velvel Brevda from Yerushalayim, Beitar. This is Reb Shlomo Brevda's son. It says in the bottom, Yerushalayim, Israel, the best place on earth. Rebbe Shlita, just wanted to bring to your attention, okay. I would like to take the opportunity to thank you for the most amazing popular shir in the world. I'm planning on one morning when I find a ride directly from Geula to join you, Gishmak shir in person, Be'ezras Hashem. There's no need to read this email. Hatzlacha, Rabbi Velva Brevda. Maybe I should have read it first. And one more from Simon Zellman. Dear Rebelli, this was hard to write all of these myself. All 5 of them. I know you get these emails all the time, but I feel that each one of them gives you, as well as everyone else, tremendous chizuk. It doesn't give anyone chizuk, but it does give me chizuk. Yesterday, while waiting for my flight from Miami to New York, at the prompting of my wife, I decided to watch the shir earlier than usual. See, the wives are pushing the olam to learn Torah. In the airport, across from me was sitting a family that you wouldn't be able to tell was Jewish. I happened to look up for a second. They were probably wearing those baseball caps. They had black socks and white gym shoes and strings hanging out of their pants, and they did not look Jewish at all. I happened to look up for a second and noticed that the father seemed to say a bracha before taking a drink of a soda. He's watching me learn. I couldn't resist to ask, this is the Ma'aser Shahaya. I got to tell you, I just stopped the story. My father-in-law, for my brother-in-law's yeshiva, Nasivas Aaron, Shmaki Yeshiva in Yerushalayim, he does a fundraiser in Chicago and he waits for Thanksgiving. So one of our hotels is dead, and he takes over the whole hotel basically, and they take over the kitchen, they kasher, they do an unbelievable thing. So every year we share the hotel with Palestinians, anti-Israel people. It's a whole thing going on. We're not going to get into that one, but the family doesn't care. At least they give us a shtickle geld and it's good. So we're breakfast after you stay over. There's a whole event. You stay over for breakfast. We're eating breakfast. It's beautiful breakfast. All of a sudden, an Arab walks in, and he starts taking from the pancakes and the eggs. It was not comfortable. So my cousin-in-law, she walks over to him. She says, "Excuse me, this is a private party. Okay." Sorry. Puts it all down. Walks out. And my wife's uncle, who manages the hotel and everything, he saw what happened and he calls her over quickly and says, no, Call him back. Say it's okay. So the guy comes back. He says, okay, thank you. He takes the pancakes and the egg and then he sits down by the table by himself. And we're looking, from the corner of our eye, what is this Palestinian doing here? And right before he starts eating, he takes out a yarmulke, puts it on his head, and makes a bracha. So I walked over to him, started schmoozing with him, and he started coming up with some funny story. I thought maybe he worked for the Shin Bet or something, like he was planted in the hotel, like he was trying to monitor what was going on. I don't know. That was my theory. His story didn't make any sense whatsoever. They didn't let him into America. He had to stay in O'Hare, a whole thing. Anyway, fine. It was just, here's the Maisa. The guy said a bracha before drinking his soda, so he chapped that he's Jewish. He was watching me learn. I couldn't resist, so I asked him, can you imagine a homosexual on the day of Yom Kippur? To my surprise, he said yes. And it told me he was on a second cycle of Daf Yomi. These people don't learn. These shkotzim. He learns every day. We shmoozed a bit about the daf, how beautiful it is. Yidden around the world, able to talk and learning every day. What a chabura, Simon Zellman. Shkoyach Simon. All right. What? No, I got an email. I was so excited. I got this. I forgot to print. I got one email that actually I was very happy about. It was a shtickle hate email. He goes, I can never look at you the same. Why did you bring politics into yesterday's shir? I had to go back to think what he was talking about. I think he was talking about that I said about the New York Times and Trump. But I was thinking to myself, if that was the one taina that he had, I'm good. He didn't chab that it was mevayish noam berabim. So, wow, that was the only reason that he's going to look at me differently. Okay, so today, Rabbi Isai is Daf Tesvav. It might be, I don't know if this is a record, but definitely right up there, 18 charts printed for today's shir. So yesterday, we had a stira. We had a contradiction between the two Mishnayos. And it says in our Mishnah that Ketores comes before the Neiros. And it says, in Tamid, it says that the Neiros come before the Ketores. So we said, one explanation, we're going to get into the second one. One explanation is, and this is a fact, that first the Kohen lights 5 candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he pauses. The question is, what does he pause with? He has to make a stop, a hard stop. So we Chacham hold that he stops with the Ketores. So Memela, our Mishnah is talking about this part, 1 and 2, the second part. So that's why our Mishnah says, Ketores comes before 1 and 2. But the Mishnah in Tamid says that Neiros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, comes before Ketores. That's answer number 1. And then we said, it says in the Pasuk, my time at Abishol, why does he say, Abishol holds that the break between 5 and the 2 is not Ketores at all. It's the Tamid. The Ketores actually comes afterwards. Why? Because it says, Baboiker beitivos haNeiros. First it says that he does all the Neiros, and afterwards he does Ketores. So Ketores comes after this. You notice I changed this up a little bit. It was a little messy, and I know I put a circle. Okay, whatever. When you have a little bit more time. Be'idan, v'rabanan. So we're holding over here basically. Last words on Yudalad Amud Beis, v'rabanan. My Kalman Rachmana. How did you explain? Baboiker first. This Neiros, then Yaktirena. Be'idan atavad. He make the Ketores. No. As he's doing the Neiros, there's going to be Ketores. In middle, Yaktirena, there's going to be Ketores. How do you do that? First you do 5 Ketores, and then you do 2. I have a question, says Chacham. Not so, top of Tesvav Amud Aleph. Bein ha'arbaim d'chsiv, u'bahalois ha'arnis ha'neiros ben ha'arbaim yaktireno. There's 2 Ketores, one in the morning, one in the evening. And it says, u'bahalois ha'arnis ha'neiros ben ha'arbaim yaktireno. Hachinami de bereisha. So you're going to explain the pasuk the same way you explain the first pasuk? What does yaktireno mean? According to you, Abishol, yaktirena means after the Neiros. Neiros, yaktirena comes after Neiros. Neiros then Ketores. It's impossible to say that pshat at night. Why? Because Neiros is always the last avoid in the Beis Hamikdash. How is it possible to say that yaktirena means Ketores after Neiros when Neiros is the final avodah? And if you say, yeah, you do the menorah and then the Ketores, but Tanya, it's impossible. We just had, I think, in Shkolem. How much oil do you put in the menorah? exactly enough to last the whole night. It's not exactly. You always put the same amount, but some even say that there was a chachma. Remember in Shkolim we learned chachma. How do you do the wick? He's shaking. He says, "Yeah, your son. Nobody remembers but your son. You make the wick thicker, narrower, so that it lasts exactly the entire night. Even the shorter nights are going to last the same amount because you make the wick thicker. Fine. This is what we're looking for. There's no avodah that happens. Nothing happens after the menorah because it says another pasuk. Fine. In other words, the only way. So it's impossible to learn the pasuk. First comes neres, then yaktirena comes the ketores. Impossible to learn so in the evening because you cannot have ketores after the menorah. Menorah is the last avodah. Bidan, you already asked your question in the email. Bidan adlokote miktar ketores. Hachenami bidan atavot miktar ketores. So that's it. Bidan adlokote miktar ketores. So Memela Rabbanim learn that the ketores must be in the middle of the neros. So 2 in the morning, the hatava. When I'm cleaning out the neros, it's in the middle of the ketores. In the middle of the neros. The hatava of the ketores is in the middle of the hatava. As he's cleaning these out, he cleans 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then comes ketores, then 1, 2, he cleans out the rest. At night, right? Fine. The word yaktirena, you see from the evening, yaktirena means the ketores comes in the middle. So 2, in the morning when you're cleaning, the ketores comes in the middle. So Abba Shalom has a big problem. He admits to the idea that ketores cannot be after the menorah at night. So how come in the morning he says it does come after the menorah? The reason is there's a big difference between morning and evening. In the evening, nothing comes after the menorah, but in the morning, you could do it smack in the middle. In that tava, the ketores comes afterwards, but in the evening, you're right. You're going to have to do the ketores in the evening in middle. That's what Rabbi Yossi is going to learn. Ketores can never come after the menorah at night. So he's going to learn one pasuk that the ketores comes after, but the morning pasuk, yaktirena, means the tava, cleaning out the menorah, is going to come after the ketores is going to come after the whole menorah. Yaktirena. Again, first comes cleaning out all of these candles, then yaktirena, then he brings the ketores, that's in the morning. In the evening, he's going to admit that yaktirena means in the middle somewhere. So again, we have a contradiction between the two. Yeah, you have a question? You're just asking something else. Don't confuse me now. What about hektiv chalavim? No. The menorah is the last thing. But maybe you're right. I don't know. Right now we're not learning about it. Rav Papa Omer. They burned through it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'akol niyeh b'dvaroi. Zok the Gemara. So we had a contradiction between the two Mishnayos. One says ketores comes before the neros. One says, our Mishnah says it comes before the neros. One says it comes after. And we said the neros are 2 parts. There's 5 and 2. So the ketores came before the 2. That's our Mishnah. Another pshat. Based on what we just said, that the machlokes between Rabbanan and Abba Shaul, do you even do the neros? Are there even ketores in middle or not? What's in middle? According to Abba Shaul, right over here, the hard break is carbon tamid, nothing to do with ketores. So Rabban, if you look in Rashi, it's very nice because Rav Papa actually is trying to answer something here. What? One Mishnah is talking about 5, one Mishnah is talking about 2. It's a little schwer to understand. What? The Mishnah in Talmud is talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and our Mishnah is talking about right before 1, 2. He says, no, both the Mishnayos are talking about right before 1, 2. This break right over here. According to Rabbanan, what do you do in the break? Ketores. And according to Abba Shaul, what do you do in the break? You do Talmud. So that's the answer. But Mayu Kimta says the Gemara, okay. So Mayu Kimta Masnisin the Hacha to Rabbanan. Our Mishnah right over here on Daf Yudalid is Chachamim. We just said that. Pious, Abba Shaul. The following Mishnah, on Daf Chav Daled, is Abba Shaul who says, that's the contradiction that we have. It says that in the lottery, the Ketores comes after the menorah. But what about another Mishnah, on Daf Lamed Aleph? So that they bring the Kohen Gadol, they bring him a carbon tablet. Karatzai, interesting lashon to say that he shechted. Ooh, look who's here. Oh, turn around, don't embarrass him. Karatzai, you do shchita, but on Yom Kippur, this is talking about Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is a different type of shchita. Because the Kohen Gadol has to do a trick. He has to do all the avodas. He has to do shchita and then do Kabbalah. He has to grab the blood. So if he's going to do a regular shchita and keep on going until he's going to miss the blood. So he does shchita, and then somebody takes over and he grabs the kli and he grabs the blood. So that's why it's called karatzai. It's an interesting type of shchita. 3/4 of shchita. He does roiv simanim, umerak shchita yodai, and somebody else finishes it off. And then what does it say? Ooh, over here it says ketores comes first, neres comes second, shitasu rabbanon, asan rabbanon. So what do we have? Black and black is a sandwich. Our Mishnah is a rabbanon. The Mishnah on Lamed Aleph is rabbanon. The center Mishnah is Abba Shaul. So it's a problem. Reisha v'sefer rabbanon tziyasa Abba Shaul. You want to tell me that it's just rabbanon, then we go to another shita? Great. We're going to come back to the first shita. That's very difficult. What do we always say on kashas like this? Oh malach rapapa in. In fact, yep, we're stuck. Reisha v'sefer rabbanon tziyasa Abba Shaul. Yes, you are right. Says the Gemara, Abaye lo Yoma Kirapapa. Why did Abaye say the answer yesterday that we're talking about? 5 and 2. The Ketores comes after 5, but it comes before 2. Those are 2. Because of this question. It didn't make sense to Abaye that we have Chachamim, and Abba Shaul in the middle. He's not even talking about Abba Shaul. Everything is Rabbanan. There's no Abaye lo Yoma Kirapapa, or Reish v'sefer Rabbanim Tziyas Abba Shaul. Lo Yoma. He doesn't like that. He doesn't like to answer in. Although we had many times in Shas that Abaye says in on those questions. But okay. Oh, Elo Rapapa, my time Elo Yomakar Abaye. But how come Rapapa? Huh? Of course, yeah, you're right. Enochanami. Rapapa, my time Elo Yomakar. Yeah, of course, 100%. He doesn't, it's not the Chatchila at all. It's very b'di'ev. And he has a better answer, he says. Why is Rapapa doing something like this? Agreeing to do something. This is when you mamish don't have another answer. But yet, Abaye has a great answer, 5 and 2. It's mamish in the middle. It's before 2, before the 2 final neirais. Amalach, Tana Bereisha, Hatavish neirais v'haba hatavish chamish neirais. That doesn't make sense. To say here, if we go this way, our Mishnah on Daf Yudalid. What's going on? You lost something? Zoom or YouTube? Yeah, we could go. Okay, we go. Says Abaye, it doesn't make sense that our Mishnah is talking about 1 and 2, which is really 6 and 7. 6 and 7 comes after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Mishnah number 1 in our Yudalit is talking about what happens before 1 and 2, and then later on it talks about what happens after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not the right order. It should first talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then 6 and 7. Our Mishnah is talking about 6 and 7. It says 1 and 2 here, but it's wrong, right? It's 6 and 7. So, says Gemara, Abaye, that's not such a great kasha. I'm not giving you the order of Avodah Beis Hamikdash. That we will get to Be'ezer Hashem in the Masechta. It'll tell us exactly what the Kohen Gadol does. First he does this, step 1 is this, step 2 is that. There's 100 steps, right? I'm just throwing out a number. A lot of steps. So if we're talking about order of the Avodah, of course, this is going to come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then comes 6, 7. We're saying something else. Our Mishnah is telling us where the Ketores goes, that there's a Ketores before 1 and 2. In fact, this is the only 2 that the Kohen Gadol does. This is not even something Kohen Gadol does on the 7 days of Prisha. And our Mishnah is talking about Prisha here. So when it's neged to the Kohen Gadol in our Masechta, Shivas Yom, Kodim, Yom Kippur, these are the only 2 that the Kohen Gadol does. So you're right, it's out of order. It's a beautiful answer. I'm just giving you halacha. V'sidra ha'adar tanelei. Later on, don't worry about it. That was Tosfos that I just quoted. The last 2. It's great. Yeah. But no, true. But we're still, there's another knate here that I said that we're trying to say the halach of Ketairis comes before. So that's a completely different halacha. I'm not just picking this chakras over that chakras, this kriyashma over that kriyashma. I'm telling you a halacha that's neged to us. You know, Ketairis comes before the halakas neiris. Which one's 1 and 2? So I'm talking about 1 and 2. Fine. Right? The other one is okay, fine. Rabbi say, here goes. Yesterday in the morning, I was learning the sugya, and I started imagining to myself, okay, I need to build myself a mizbeach. It's going to be terrible. I'm going to grab a box, a cardboard, and I have to do, and there's 3 levels, you saw it. And then I realized that most likely somebody sells it. So I went to the store, look, they don't sell, they sell Beis HaMikdash. After a few phone calls, guy in Yerushalayim sells it in Mechon HaMishkan, HaMikdash, Mechon HaMikdash, in Yerushalayim, Ir Atika. I called him up. It took me a very long time. It took hours. Called him up, got the order, sent it in a taxi over here. But I called up Eli Shapiro, famous driver, and I told him, listen, I want to get a taxi. So at the end, I don't know if he charged me or not. I think he might have done it for chesed, but don't take it. He didn't want to take money from my wife. So if that, either way, Grace Yishkoach to Eli Shapiro. Okay, so the mizbech comes in a box. I open it up. I couldn't believe it. It's made out of wood. Comes in 40 different pieces. So he kept on procrastinating. Then Geshem and Moshe and Reuben and Shay come to my house to set up the new 8-minute video, because whatever, it's a new studio in my house. Took hours. And then I told Gershon, I said, I need to get a guy. Call somebody up right now. We got to get a guy over here to build this thing. I wasted all this time and money. It's like 1,000 shekel, this mizbeach. You're not going to believe when you see it. 1,000 shekel. No, because there's also Beis HaMikdash that comes with it. And there's a box. I'm looking for somebody to put this puzzle together. It's like 38 pieces. You want to do it here? I don't want to throw it because I might hit Rabbi Schoenberg. Shkoyach. Anyways, I needed it. I really needed it for today because we're talking about that Mizbeach HaKtaris today a lot, but there's beautiful pictures. Anyway, to make a long story short, oh wow, we're running out of time. Gershon ben Moshe had a job. He had a paying job. He's going to go there like at 11 o'clock at night. And instead he decided to sit down for 2 hours. Here, this is the mess that it starts out with. It's a beautiful project. He sat there in my house, I'm not exaggerating, to 1 o'clock in the morning. However, and when he got to the end at 1 o'clock in the morning, he realized that we're missing pieces. And he was very disappointed. I understand the disappointment, but you know what? It's better than nothing. We'll get it. We'll make it up. It's right here. Here's the mizbeach. Look at this. It's made out of wood. It needs to be painted. It's missing a lot. Gershon's coming back tonight at 1, and he's going to continue to 3. You have more ramps on the side, different things. This ramp was missing. He improvised with different people. Don't ask. We'll put it here. Fine. Yeah, but I need to use it. We're not done yet. Fine. Says the Gemara. Gufa. Here we are. We're holding in the sugya of a mizbeach. It's heavy. It's all plywood. Knocking 1 o'clock in the morning, waking up all my. It was a mess, but it was kedai. It's kedai. We could have gone with pictures. We want to be the only shir in the world that has a mizbeach. I think somebody just said that we should use this to shecht my dog. Whatever. Balakarim is Rachis Tzefinus, who's barking nonstop for 3 hours. Yeah. I have one. I have a 3D printer. I bought it for this, but it takes like 24 hours to print something this size. Anyway, that was another idea, my genius idea. I bought a giant printer, 3D printer for my son. I said, okay, we're going to need it for parts and pieces. The only thing, he once made me an 8-minute daf this size. It took all night. The thing goes, zzz. Okay, anyways. And then, the electric goes off here and so occasionally. So you got to start over. All right. What's going on here? Here. Rabbi said this is the Mizbeach. So he comes over here to this corner. If you look over here, you see how there's a Yahrzeit. It's unbelievable. The diuk. This is actually to scale. It's 1/50th. 1 centimeter equals an amma. So this piece right over here is the base. You see? He comes over here and he puts the blood on. This red right over here. He puts it on this corner. Mizrachis tzefainis. Then he continues all the way around. He walks around. Gershon, you forgot to put these chronis on. How to do it at 2 in the morning. These guys. Okay. Comes around and he goes to the next corner. This one right over here. So basically started over here. Instead of going over here, he goes around and he catches this corner. And he sprays it like that. Then he sprays this corner. On the bottom. He's walking on the bottom. Now, says the Gemara, wood is heavy. My Rav is Reuben. When he gets over here, my Rav is Reuben. Reb Shimon Ish HaMitzpah says, you do it slightly different, as in this depiction over here. You see how the blood is nice and even? 1, 2. On this corner, you do it different than on this. Over here, you spray it with a kli, and it hits, one spray hits both corners. Over here, according to, we found Rabbeinu Eliyakim, who's maybe Rashi's Rebbe, but at least he lived in the time of Rashi. He says, Mefurish, that it's like, let me just explain real quickly, the difference between a tamid, which is a oila and all korbanos, the dam goes on the bottom. Like he said, you walk on the bottom and you hit this corner and this corner. But if you're a chatas, the only other carbon, the kohen walks up the ramp, and there's a small side ramp over here that we're going to attach today sometime, and he walks over here. Okay, here we go. We got a green light here. Givaldik. Okay, where did you lose us, guys? So Rabbi says, so last night, Gary Ben Moshe sat in my house, and he, oh, you guys heard that already. Okay, fine. Where are we holding? So therefore, Rabbi Eliyakim holds that he uses his finger, and he does really nicely a little bit of blood here, a little bit of blood here, like a chatas. Okay. Where? Down below, not up on top like a chatas. A real chatas would be up here. So it's a combination. You could learn that since it's a combination, he makes sure he does it twice, 1, 2, with a kli. But he says, no, it's already like a chatas, let's do it with the finger. Okay. First, he does this side, Myrav, then he does this side, great. My time is where did he get his vart from? Omer he heard it from one person from Viyan. Omer Kro. We all know this pasuk is in Pinchas. It's like by the Aliyah, by the end of the Aliyah. It talks about a chatas. Al oilas hatamid. What's the simple pshat? On top of, in addition to the oila, you do a chatas in addition to the oila. Yosef in his sky. So he learns oilahi v'amrachmana aveidba ma'isa chatas. It's on top of. Not only do you do the oila, the tamid, the way it is, you add a little bit of a chatas to it, a little flavor of chatas. Meaning, you put the blood in, instead of just throwing it and hitting 2 walls in one shot, you do it in 2 times. Great. Okay, it's sad. First, he hits the first corner like a regular oila with 1 kli, a spritz. It hits 2 sides. Shtayim shem shtayim. Sorry. Okay, it's shtayim. 1 spritz, which equals 2 walls. Kamaisa oila like oila. And then, all on the bottom still, shtayim shem shtayim. Kamaisa chatas. Then he takes his finger and hits 2 walls. How many do we have now? 3 zrikas, which is very strange. It's either 4 or 2. We never had 3. That's what he holds. Velite, and as the Gemara, first, let him go, do what he did. Spray, hit these 2 walls. Spray, hit these 2 walls. Then let him do chatas. Go nicely. Go like this, all over again. Let him do oila, and then a chatas. The Torah says you should act like a chatas. It doesn't say split it up. This blood gives you a kapara. So already gave a kapara when you did it like a oila. Then you're going to go and redo the kapara, do it for another avera. in another way with your finger instead of with the kli? We never saw such a thing. What do you mean you never saw such a thing? This whole thing we never saw. This is brand new to us also. This is also new. It's in the pasuk. So the Torah said also over here, maybe. Who said? So the Gemara has some pisuk matanas ba'almahi. Says the Gemara very simple. All Reb Shimon ben Amitzpah says is that instead of spraying it with a kli, do it nicely, one and one. But he's not saying redo anything, do something different. He's not doing anything different. He's just, you don't have it in one shot, you do it. So that's okay. That's not a big chiddush. Pisuk ba'alma. It's just to separate all he's doing like a regular oila. You don't get a lot of blood all over the corners. Fine, but it's the same thing. It's in the same order, it's the same idea. Says Gemara, again, the huge nafkamina between a chatas and a oila is that a chatas is up above, you're hitting the keren, and a oila is down below, unless it's a bird. I don't want to confuse anybody, but the birds are the exact opposite. The oila is on top, chatas on the bottom. So let him put it at least. Why is he applying it like a chatas? Apply it where the chatas is, which is above. You want to do half and half? Great. So do one sprinkle like a oila on the bottom, and one shmear with the finger on top like a chatas. Do it correctly. Says Gemara, says Gemara, we never found such a thing. It doesn't exist that you do half and half. Half on the top, half on the... By the way, top and bottom, there's a chut sikra here, which hopefully we'll get. It doesn't really come with one, it comes with the decorative thing. But there's a red line right here, and that marks the top and the bottom. Above the line, it's literally above the red line. Above the red line and below the red line. Fine. Says Gemara, we do find such a thing. Basnan, there's another mizbeach called mizbeach haktoires, or the mizbeach hapnimi, the inner mizbeach that's inside the heichal. By the way, here's a beautiful picture of the guy standing limala, literally standing on the mizbeach above the red line. You can see the red line here. You're asking yourself, why do we need this thing? We have pictures. It's just different. Okay, this we'll use later. So here you have the Mizbech HaKtorah, the Aron. This is the Aron, Aron. On the Aron there's a kapyrus, not to be confused with paroichas. Kapyrus, and that's the cover. So it says, if we look at the pasuk, this kapyrus, on Yom Kippur, the Kohen Gadol walks into Kodesh HaKodashim, and he applies blood over there. How does he do it? It says in the pasuk, al panei hakapayers. We're learning it means above, kedma, vilifnei. And on the bottom, maybe. We'll see if that's the real pshat. Says Gemara, I lost my place already. No. No. Yeah. So period. So you see that there's above and below. Not this one, but this one. I don't know if you could see Gershon, but there's a line, a blue line here, and there's blood below the line, and there's blood above the line. The line marks where the kapara says the cover of this beautiful aron, which is the kruvim. Okay. See the line? I don't know if you could see it. I don't see it. Yeah. Yeah. Look at the next word. It says Gemara, kimatzlif, like a sharpshooter. That what? Not true, says the Gemara. It's not on the actual aron. You know where it is? On the floor, right over here. You can see the dots right over here. And he's throwing it, and we're going to see in the Gemara later on, it never even hits the aron. You're not supposed to get the blood on the aron. Okay. Kimatzlif. I had a good thing. I don't know if I have time. I want to tell you a joke. Not a joke, but maybe a Musa Haskell. Say it real quickly, because we got to stop. A little break. There was a guy, the king wanted to see talent. So he invited all these people. There's a guy that told the king, I could do something that's going to shock you. If I do it 20 times in a row, it'll shock you. Says the king, okay, let me see. Guy takes a needle with a hole in it, and he puts it on a tree. He goes 20 feet away, and he's matzlif. He sharpshoots the needle, and he's able to get his needle into that hole. The king can't believe it. And he does it over and over. It just keeps on going in. So the king gave him 50 golden coins for every time that he did it. But then he said, I have to give you 50 malchus. Why? He said, a guy like you're so talented, and all you do is you put needles in holes. It's more than I thought. We have to use our talents for ruchnius. Here's a kohen gadol that uses his matzlif for the blood, Yom Kippur, whatever. There's people that do whatever your talent is, use it for kedusha. Otherwise, you get malchus for it. Machmir Rav Yehuda. What does it mean? Kimenagdina, like malchus. Yeah, mamish fits in. Here, the story has matzlif and malchus. Like when Bezdin gives malchus to a human being, they start off at the top of the shoulder and they work their way down. So it's nice and even. It's red all over. But they don't want to hit the same spot twice. It's dangerous. So they keep on going down. So in that picture, as you saw, there's blood. He has to make sure that there's top and bottom. But the Gemara is going to say, he sprays it like this, different ways. That's why it's top and bottom. Fine. What are you saying that you can't put blood on the top and the bottom of the mizbeach? What's not? Here. So over here, he hits the taharai of the mizbeach. What's taharai? Taharai, the pureness of the mizbeach, of this mizbeach. We're not talking about this model. This is the mizbeach achitzain. Mizbeach ha'il, this is where you put korbanos on. This is the ktaris, inside the heichal. Sheva pa'amim, 7 times. My love, al pagad mizbeach. L'chayra, it's taharai is referring to halfway. Says Gemara, Kedamri Inchi, Tahar Tiara, who pagad Yoma. When they say Tahar Tiara, they mean halfway through the day, noon. Omer Rashila, Loi. It's not talking about the blood, it hits the Mizbeach. It's talking about Gufay Shem Mizbeach. On top of the Mizbeach, as so, by the way, obviously all these pictures are from Kol Alashan, beautiful pictures. We have Rishus. He sets aside, he pushes the Ktaris to the side. As you can see, there's an opening right here, and he puts the blood right in there on the top. Tiara means on top. There's a pasuk to corroborate that. The sky is toyar. So this is the top. Sky is the top. We just turned to Daf Yomi, sponsored by Yaakov Badner. I'm going to skip Stephen Sokol today because we don't have time. Zchus shidduch for Dina Tamar Bas Esther Rivka, and a zchus for Sarah Leena Bas Golda Leah, and the zchus shidduch for Shendel Rachel Bas Avrom Tzvi B'Karoi Mamish. Maishna the Yav Oila Bereisha V'Had the Yav the Chatos. Now, the Gemara is asking a kasha. What happens if a person brings 2 korbanos to the Beis Hamikdash? Which one does he bring first? It's always the Chatos. So how come today this comes second? This part of the blood, sprinkling of blood, which resembles the Chatos, comes second. When you have a Chatos and Oila, what comes first? The Chatos. So the sprinkle of blood. So go on this corner a little bit with the smear of the finger. Then when you get to this corner, spray it nicely with a kli. Says the Gemara. Huh? But the Gemara says a much, much better answer. Even the Oila. What is a tamid? A tamid is Oila. Forget the pasuk. It is an Oila. We're dealing with an Oila. So act like an Oila. First you do the whatever is common for an Oila. Then you do what's common for a Chatas, which is like you said, but it's starker. He kadma bereisha. Umaishna says the Gemara. The Yav Mizrachis Tzefainis Umaravis Droimis. Why these 2 corners? Nesiv Droimis Mizrachis, Vadet Tzefainis Maravis. Gemara is asking beautifully. We have the famous halacha that Eim Avir and Alamitzvus. He's walking from the Mizbeach. This is the front. The first corner he gets to is right over here. Why does he keep on going to the next corner? Says the Gemara, very pashit. Amri Oylatuni Yisayid. Look at this pasuk right over here. Another chart. El Yisoid Mizbach Oila. That the Oila has a base. What is it called in English? Not a base, it's a better word. Foundation. Okay, I don't know if I like base better. Okay, fine. We'll go with base. A who? A footing? Footing maybe. Footing, yeah. Footing. I like footing also. Footing is all foundation, it's not really a foundation. Okay. Says Gemara, you can't spray on this. It's illegal to spray over here because there's nothing here. So you go to where you have this guy sticking out. You see this? This is the, you can spray over there. Okay. V'keren, oila tuni side. V'keren's remes mizrachas lehavle side. Remember, we learned that Binyamin, the whole sugya, Binyamin Yehuda, they took away from Binyamin, so therefore, this is all Binyamin's territory, that's why this is Yisod. This is not Binyamin's territory, this is Yehuda. Yehuda got a Ritzua into it, so there's no Yisod over here. Okay. Says Gemara, actually, aggravation is zoche tzvaynis v'adam. Marav is the Reuben. They say aggravation. Marav is the Reuben. V'adam is zoche tzvaynis. That's the Gemara. Beautiful kasha. Why is he going this way and traveling all the way down the Mizbeach? It's much easier to hit right over here. This corner is a lot closer than this corner on the other side. Why is he going to the other side? What? Oh, that's the Gemara's answer. How do we know? That's the Gemara right here. Says the Gemara. As they say in Yiddish, Ayid geht rechts. You get rechts. You always go to the right. You get the stop sign. You don't want to go right or left. Go right. Azay Zakman. So Mela, yeah, all Hasidim. There's not a Hasid that won't go right. You always go right. It's true. It says over here. Mizrach Rashi takes out. Mizrach says it's not important here. That's for a different sugya. But anyway, the point is you go to the right. A very important thing that bothered me, and we were learning it in Zvachim, I think it was, and we had different pshatim. I need like a doll. I don't have a doll. Give me those tissues for a second, just for a second. Thank you. When he comes up the ramp, he's walking. Dun, 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 he makes a right turn. But guess what? He's making a left turn next. And he keeps on making lefts. Answers Rashi. He comes up the ramp, makes a right turn, and his body stays like this. And he's walking sideways, says Rashi. He's not walking straight, because if he's walking straight, he's going to be making left turns. But if he walks sideways, like this, he keeps on hopping down the Mizbeach, so he's constantly walking to his own right. His head is facing the Mizbeach, and therefore he's making right turns all the time. You're right, but Rashi says even more. I know, I think there's Rishonim over there. My Chavrusa argued with me, but I remember learning that somebody argues with that pshat. Okay. Says Gemara. By the way, based on this Yisod, the Trumas Hadeshin says that when you light Chanukah candles, Shalom Aleichem, you should light the left and keep on going to your right. Others argue, okay, fine, everybody with their own minhag. Yeah. It's at least an amma. An amma is 2 feet wide, but yeah, I don't know. How wide is it? Might be more. I think it's more. This is 1, but could be based on this. It's only 1 amma because it's to scale. There's a ramp here. That's why we didn't build it complete. There's a ramp that goes down here. There's a ramp that goes to the middle one. Here, let's just see this pasuk for a second, if I can find it. Here. Where was that pasuk? I lost it. We don't have time to go look for it. Okay. You guys remember the pasuk, right? Says the Gemara, who told you that the chatos is in addition to the oila? Perhaps the oila is in addition to the chatos. Maybe we're dealing with a chatos. The whole carbon is a chatos. And when you're performing the avodah on that chatos, do a little bit of oila. Who told you that we're dealing with an oila and do a little bit of a chatos? So Gemara is going to answer what you're all thinking. Maybe we're talking about a chatos. In other words, al oilas hatamid means after you did the avodah of the chatos, add a little bit of the oila. Al oilas hatamid yosef iniska. That what? That the chatos has to be on top of the oila, not the opposite. Al oila chatos, al oilas hatamid. This chatos should be on top of, in addition to the oila. Midi the chatos shadi oila. Not awesome. 2 more minutes. The guy in charge of the Beis Hamikdash at that point, whoever it was, maybe it's the second command or the guy in charge of the morning services. I don't like that word. The morning avodah. The superintendent, somebody. There was a place called Lishkas Beis Hatlaim. So you look over here. We're talking about this room right over here. This is called Beis HaMoiked. Right over here. In this Beis HaMoiked, there's 4 smaller rooms. Beis HaMoiked has a lot of fire. The Beis HaMikdash was very cold, stone floors. You're not allowed to wear shoes. They would walk in here all the time to warm up the feet. But in here, there's 4 rooms. One of them had the 6 sheeps that we discussed in Shkolim. throughout Shas, there's always 6 tamimim, perfect, so that worst case scenario, you're always going to have sheep here. So he says, go grab a sheep. We need a sheep today. Tamid in the morning, Tamid in the afternoon. So where is this? So you look over here. Here it is. It's this room. So if we're looking like that, here's the line. From this line, this is kodesh, this is chol. So it comes out that the sheep were outside of the Beis Hamikdash. You see the line right over here? They're outside. You can even see the dotted line right here. That dot shows you this is kodesh, this is chol. Okay. Says the Gemara. Hello. It's not a question. It's telling us. Remember, we had this in Shkolim. You get a receipt that you paid for your soilus. I just printed it. I didn't have time to make it big, but large. You get a little. If you're buying, it's called a gdi. You put the name, the week. Okay, fine. Going back to Shkolim. You get one of these receipts, and with that, you purchase your. Because you're not going to come to the Beis Hamikdash with flour and oil and wine. You go, you give the guy money in this room. It's beautiful. You did a great job here. And they have the wine, the oil. They give you whatever you need. Fine. Next room is called Vachas Lishkas Beis HaMoiked. There's a little fire in there. Here, a little fire, a little mikvah going on here. Great. And this one is where they make lechem apanim. According to this chart that we have, it's also outside of the Beis Hamikdash. It's not kodesh. But here they have the ovens, they make the lechem apanim. Fine, let's stop over here, I guess. It's a perfect place to stop. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. That's what it is. Mort Bloomberg, Shalom Aleichem Mort. Really? You could have brought me back my thing. I would have known. It's going to get even better because now we're really learning about the Beis Hamikdash, the different measurements, everything. What do you have?
No, I'm saying like if you want, I can borrow your 3D printer right now. You don't mind having it run for 12 hours straight.
You do, Mort. Shalom Aleichem. Great to see you. Thank you.
No, we have to give you something.
You look exactly like you do on Zoom. I know, but I remember you. I remember how you look. The 3D model you're asking? We got to.
If you want, I can print it out for you.
You can't print out a whole Beis Hamikdash.
No, but you can print out parts. Beis Hamikdash you have to. What do you want? Mizbech Hazav.
How are you going to do a Mizbech Hazav? How?
What do you mean? How big is your printer? 120 by 120? It's like this big. You could do something this tall.
But how are you going to build it? How are you going to get all the different?
I already have all the models on there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go. Get me a Aron. I want an Aron.
Yeah, Aron.
I know. That's why. You see, because of people like you. Everybody. It's another. This is the scale. It's not. It's just very small. What's the scale?